Welcome to Nerd.World, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at an aircraft from the Stargate franchise, the F-302 Air and Space Superiority fighter, built and operated by the Tauri, or the people of Earth. Before we get started, please, if you're enjoying this video or any others on this channel, and please I encourage you to go watch some more, please like, share and subscribe, and hit a little bell icon if you're really enjoying my videos. This is still a very small channel and I'm really enjoying doing it, and if I want to grow I need more people to like, share and subscribe, and it'll allow me to spend more time doing this and making more of these videos, which I haven't been able to do in a very long time. Since many years ago I used to work as a cameraman and editor, which I haven't obviously it's been a very long time since I've done that. But with that said, let's get started on this video. The Tauri made F-302 Air and Space Superiority fighter was a hybrid technology. The vessel was built with adapted, mostly Goa'uld technology that had been scavenged or reverse engineered from captured technology, found technology, or anything they could have found off-world, which was the original point of the Stargate program, to find and recover technologies that could benefit Earth and or could be used in the defense of Earth against the now known enemies that are out there, in the form particularly of the Goa'uld. The F-302 was the production model of the X-302, the original prototype. The original prototype included a Quadria reactor that was able to generate a small hyperspace window for the vessel to become a truly interstellar and independent craft, though this technology was extremely unstable, as Quadria was quite rare, and also a very unstable version of Naquita, which was a very clean energy source, which would have very high energy output, unlike say nuclear energy, which has a lot of negative byproducts. The Goa'uld reactor systems used were much more clean and efficient, but unfortunately were too bulky in the form of their hyperspace generators. As a result, the production model F-302 did not contain a self-hyperspace capability of its own. It was, however, capable of spaceflight and atmospheric flight, both equally, and combined with its inertial dampeners was capable of speeds, accelerations and maneuvering that no traditional Earth aircraft could even come close to matching, despite the relatively inelegant design of the F-302 being heavily modelled after a Goa'uld death glider, which itself is a fairly inefficient vessel. But the F-302 took the best elements of that design and incorporated them. Although the vessel did lack shields, it was very fast, it was very maneuverable, and more than compensated for that. An enemy would have to hit the damn thing, and a death glider, as stated, was an inefficient craft with a very poor targeting system, and would most likely hit maybe a stationary barn if it was a bit of time to target it. It wasn't going to hit a fast maneuvering high-speed fighter, not easily anyway, not without superior numbers. No amount of great Jafar piloting was going to compensate for the poor craft that they had given to them by the Goa'uld. The F-302, however, was very well armed with various different types of adaptable missile systems, as well as two forward-facing chin-mounted railguns. These were a form of magnetically propelled cannon, a very effective weapon against unshielded targets, and even had some effect against shielded craft as well, although they were better suited for taking out infantry, ground targets, support units and other fighters that were unshielded or only lightly shielded. The F-302 would prove an extremely adaptable frame and combat craft, and would be used in various theatres of war. They would be operated by multiple independent and united governments of Earth against their enemies, such as the Goa'uld, the Wraith, the Ori. These vessels would prove themselves against everyone. Although in many ways technologically inferior to all of these opponents, the vessels made up for it with superior design and tactics, and being generally a little badass fighter. These were an excellent complement to the Daedalus class warships, as well as Prometheus class vessel that the Earth would produce. And in its hybrid carrier / battlecruiser role, those vessels would come to heavily rely on these ships in a support role, as well as taking out smaller targets, which the larger vessel wasn't really as geared for dealing with. as the Daedalus class in particular was primarily armed with plasma beam weapons, which were designed to take out large targets. Although it did have missiles and railguns to deal with smaller targets as well, it really relied on fighter interceptors to keep those small annoying insects of vessels away from the bigger ship, and the F-302 was always the go-to vessel. Although some adaptations and variations would exist within the class, generally speaking, it was a uniform design used by every nation on Earth with pretty much uniform weaponry. It could house two pilots, a pilot, a co-pilot, or a pilot and a gunner, but could be operated by a single pilot if needed. As stated, these vessels lacked a hyperdrive and were sublight only, but they did retain the facilities to have a hyperdrive installed if the technology to power one was ever developed and miniaturized sufficiently that it was a viable technology. As I said, the hyperdrive itself had been miniaturized to the point where it could be installed on the F-302, but a power source was the major problem. Ultimately, the F-302 was one of the finest vessels ever developed by the Tauri, and was to be feared and often underestimated by all the Tauri's enemies. The Goa'uld, the Ori, the Replicators, the Wraith, the Lucian Alliance, all enemies that would come before this craft would meet the sting of its missiles and the blunt force of its railguns. This ship was one of, if not the best, space superiority fighters in the Milky Way galaxy, and proved its mettle in the Pegasus galaxy against the Wraith darts also. This ship was, as I said, a worthy addition to the Tauri Navy, and an invaluable asset in the ongoing fight for survival of the Tauri and the human races in general, as the Tauri would slowly begin to potentially inherit the mantle of protection that the Asgard had once filled in the galaxy, and ships like this were going to allow humanity to spread their wings and extend their power far beyond the confines of the Sol system and even the Milky Way galaxy. Well, that's the brief breakdown of the F-302. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, again, like, share and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.